Hello and welcome to What's Next Wall Street. I'm Georgia Alfredas.
And I'm Dave Mathews. Now, this podcast is all about stocks, the metaverse, crypto, and the new decentralized financial Web3 world all around us, and what that means for you as a trader.
Yes, every week we are right here with new information and tips that can help you become a more informed trader. We've got details on the hot new trending products that everybody's talking about using and investing in. And today I am talking about the trading frenzy that should be happening right now.
Right now? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm going to talk about the end of the world as we know it from a massive meteor strike.
Oh, okay.
I changed it up.
All right. We've got Greg Krause, lead instructor at OptionsPlayers.com here with us. He's our expert analysis. And well, he's got his expert analysis here and insight to help you target investment potential. So we can also direct you to other instructors at Options Players who can help you come up with a tailored trade plan. The goal here is to provide you with education and information and also tips so that you're not out here just trading willy-nilly.
No willy-nilly for us.
No.
Hey, we want to hear from you, so you can email us to get your questions at www.optionsplayers.com or hit us up on social media on all the links below at What's Next Wall Street with your questions and comments. You can watch this episode on the Options Players YouTube channel or listen to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
So whether you're watching us on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast, make sure you subscribe. That's really important. Hit that alert button so that you always know what's next on Wall Street. And make sure you rate the podcast. Listen here. Y'all gonna stop screwing with my holidays, okay? It already cost me about $100 to feed the little goblins in my neighborhood for Halloween, and now you're telling me that Thanksgiving dinner is gonna be more expensive this year? Turkey prices are 73% higher than last year. And analysts say they could stay that way through the holiday. I'll bet you think it's because of inflation.
Yeah.
Nope. It's mostly due to the spread of bird flu.
Wait, bird flu's back? I thought we lost that.
No, it's back. So bird flu led to a much smaller supply. However, higher feed costs and labor shortages also did factor into the increase in price. So how much will an 8 to 16 pound turkey cost you? $1.99 a pound compared to $1.15 last year. So you know what that means?
Smaller turkeys.
Smaller turkeys and fewer people in my house. Don't even come by. Letting y'all know now.
Speaking of food and groceries, San Francisco-based grocery delivery service Instacart is likely putting off plans to go public until next year. I guess we shouldn't really be that surprised. The company cut its valuation 3 times in 2022, according to a report by Reuters. Market uncertainty has left Instacart's investors worried about growing volatility in capital markets, and that is why making a 22 IPO is unlikely. And look, everybody wanted out of their house. Instacart and all these food delivery services, they did amazingly well when we were on lockdowns and our government put fear into us that the fake virus on flat Earth wasn't. Oh wait, I had it too, but it wasn't that bad. Come on.
Mine was. I thought I was dying.
I got into flat Earth mode real quick.
Okay.
I need to remember.
Greg's ears, he was like, who said
Greg
flat
got
Earth?
excited. The MAGA hats just came out. Look, my engines are flat on my Porsches. I do believe that the Earth is round because when I fly all the time, I don't know if you know this, but I like to travel. I can see the curvature of the Earth.
Okay. Y'all, some people are clearly not worried about inflation or a recession. There are already consumers in the U.S. who want to buy the first electric vehicle produced by Rolls-Royce.
Oh my God, this is going to be $1 billion car.
Oh, well, you're close. More than 300 American buyers have already made a deposit to get their hands on a Spectre.
Wait, that's a James Bond movie.
Oh, yeah, it is actually.
And a car. Okay.
Yeah, it has a starting price of $413,000. It goes from 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, and its range is about 320 miles. So I did my own research. Okay. I'll have you know. All Actually, right. I found this article on Motor Trend. But anyway, there are so many other cars that are faster and cheaper. I'm just saying, even if I had $400,000 to spend on an electric Rolls Royce, I wouldn't. You know what I would get? You know what I would get?
A Porsche Taycan
you
Turbo S.
It's
not even a turbo.
I would smoke that Rolls Royce so fast because the Taycan does 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds. Of course, Tesla's faster, but just by a smidgen. It does 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds, but it's not as pretty. as the Porsche.
The
Just my
Porsche has little panda eyes, like little sad panda. It has these little
who
slots.
doesn't want that? Honey, if you love me, you will give me that car. Like, come
Who's
on.
honey? Why are you flirting with the teleprompter guy?
No,
So
he's
weird.
cute.
Hey, did you see this? California is about to become the world's 4th largest economy. The flat earthers want to split California in half, by the way.
Okay.
Because the South is Republican and the top is North.
Yeah.
A new report from Bloomberg says California is on track to pass Germany, Deutschland, in 2023. How could this be? We must make more Volkswagens and Porsches immediately.
Exactly.
Hey, this is just 6 years after passing the United Kingdom as the 5th largest, leaving behind only Japan, China, and the rest of the U.S.
Insane.
And as we talked about last week on this show, China's president, El Presidente, he said that we're not
That's
even
Spanish,
trying to.
by the way. But go ahead.
my Chinese is off.
pretty bad.
He says, like, we don't even care with keeping up with the United States this year because they still have factory lockdowns and they're still not producing as much as they said.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to California. The Sacramento Bee, a lovely publication, says that the report shows corporate revenues are up 147%. Wait, I thought all the companies were leaving California to move to Texas.
Yeah, it's
that's
weird.
Weird, okay. Market capitalization in California is up 117% over the last 3 years, and it's led by, let me guess, technology, software, and media.
You think? Hollywood much?
Okay, or San Francisco much, yep.
Sure.
So Bloomberg says Germany's 2022 GDP is dropping. Yeah, that's very sad for us because we just had Oktoberfest.
Please, no more German stories, okay?
While California's gross, and I'm going to do the governor. While California's gross domestic product is growing this year, little girly man, critics say while California may be on pace for the 4th largest economy, when the cost of living is factored in, too expensive. Friends, moving out of there like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Their ranking drops to 11th, but still, it's a state. It's not a country.
That's what's crazy.
The state is beating other countries. Unbelievable. California has a GDP of $3.1 trillion with a T. That's over 14% of the country's total GDP. Texas, yeehaw, is next. That's
Howdy.
us with a GDP of 17.
No, 1.7.
Oh, yeah.
1.7, because it's like half of California's, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Basically.
That amounts to 8.4% of the country, USA, that is GDP.
Okay.
Wow. Those are big numbers.
Yeah, those are big numbers. Crazy.
Still, I don't want to live in California.
I would visit. I could live there. I would live there. I would live on the beach. You lived in California. What are you talking about?
Not again.
I would go. Hey, anybody got a media job there? I'm coming. It's got to be on the beach, though. I'm sorry.
Are you recruiting yourself for a job?
Yes.
On
No, I can.
our show?
No, I mean, I was
Is that
just
what we've
fly
come
back
to
here
now?
and, okay, no, never mind. I'm standing
You're
here.
not going to leave me. You can't quit me. This pro tip is brought to you by OptionsPlayers.com, and it's one that can be very handy sometimes. Using UVXY or VIX as a cheap alert. What does that mean?
Hell if I know.
All right. Well, sometimes when we at Options Players know that we'll be away from the monitors, but we're in a long play and we don't want the broadcast to stop for, we'll take a cheap in the money position in UVXY for a volatility tell or a signal. Now, often, Georgia,
Okay.
UVXY or VIX, two different stock symbols there.
Okay.
They'll move just before equities are about to make a major move. So the quick, cheap UVXY position, along with a stop, so it trades and alert you, can give you the seconds needed to exit your large long position that you may be worried about. We hope this helps you out. And if you want to know more about it, just hit us up on the comments below.
Yeah. So listen, if you've got questions or comments, we want to hear from you. So please email us at www.optionsplayers.com or leave your comment on the Options Players YouTube page. And we actually read these comments. We actually really do use your questions. So this first email comes from Susan W. She is in the optionsplayers.com website, actually. She sent one. So she wants to know if we are coming out of a bear market, have past markets shown us what trends or what tends to lead out? Okay. Do you favor new growth names that we were held back in the bear market, like a Suave? Is it Suave or DV Girl? I don't even understand your email, but I'm going to keep going. Or do you prefer to get into solid blue chips that have been beaten up? Love the show as it's fun and educational. Girl, you're about to educate me because I don't even understand.
I'm fun.
I'm not so educational. I'm educated, but
Let's go to
Greg, I
educational.
need your help.
Well, there's certain. So if you go back and look at 2008, that was for real estate, and then we really injected a lot of money into the economy versus some of the other ones where we might not injected all that money. So let's not say yes this way or no that one. Let's look at not just growth stocks, because how do you know it's going to grow? Like, it's
This is the question she had: bear market or bull market?
Yeah.
And
So
then
in the bear market, and you think it's about to go back up, would it be better to be in a growth stock or a non-growth? Well, if it goes up a lot, then it's going to be a growth stock. So of course you want to be in a growth stock. But the problem is we don't know if it's going to be a growth stock. So is it a current growth stock that's down? For example, like what you're kind of saying, like a smaller stock that you think has potential. Okay. Understand that the risk with those is higher. So that's your payoff. So if you pick the right one, then yes, you're doing good. If you don't pick the right one, it's going to be the same as just getting the market. So I'm basically telling you there's no correct answer there. For me, I would look at it more as a fundamental finance part. So and instead of looking at the market value, and you have market value, which is what someone's willing to pay for something, versus the book value, which is what it's worth on paper, right? I would look for something where those are a lot closer together and not spread apart, but you think they're going to do very well in the future. For example, you have the war in Ukraine. You have, we haven't really been in a war. We're in a proxy war, I guess you could say now. We haven't been in a war in a decade almost. I mean, we got to get back in a war, United States,
Well, Petty Putin, he's saying that we're really at war with America and Europe because we're providing all the weapons.
So this brings me back to it's the situation that you find yourself in. So you find stocks that might be beat down, maybe like companies that do well during wars and coming off of COVID, maybe Boeing might be one of those, or some other gets a lot of government contracts for government spending. But honestly, I would say just buy your S&P 500, buy your small caps, group them in. Don't try to pinpoint what's going to do great. But now, as an investor, I want to invest in things that I have passion about or I like. So let's just say I'm just going to use Peloton, and I'm definitely not telling you to invest in Peloton. But let's just say that's something that you are in a group of a bunch of Peloton people and you enjoy that. Then you have this kind of insider, it's not insider trading, it's just inside information. You know if more people are coming into it or leaving it. So find that one or few things that you're excited about that and you can kind of say, hey, I think this is going to do better in the future. And then you know why. Yeah, and then you can make an educated guess that will succeed going in. But just to say, hey, do you think this growth stock's going to do good? And growth stocks, we normally would say technology stocks.
Normally, but they've been in the can because of earnings, because of this holdback, right?
So
what you're saying is the Berkshire Hathaway way, right? Berkshire is like invest in companies that you understand and and that you use.
So, for example, Apple is down a little bit. It's not like down crazy, still trillions of dollars, but
Microsoft's down a little.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about doubling down when it's down because I like all those.
If you buy SPY, you're buying a lot of Apple in that anyway, so you could just buy Mark. It's not going to be a craziness. But I wouldn't go out there and say, I'm going to go buy, what was a company, or like Instacart if it IPOs, right? Probably not.
I use Instacart every day. I know everybody else likes to go to the store. I hate going to the store. I have an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from the store because I wind up spending more when I go to the store.
With the 8-year-old.
Yeah, so but you also have to understand in just sectors. So if you really look at that marketplace, you have Instacart, you have everybody else that's going into it. How many places can you order something? Like you got Uber Eats, what's some other stuff? So
Target, every store,
now
you can order something from every store.
You have the first people that join, and then you have all the copycats. But then it's going to get saturated, and then it's going to flatten out, and profit is going to dip down, or margins is going to dip down. So it sounds like we have all this COVID stuff, but now we're trying to get out, right? Where is that, the demand for that might slow down, and now you're going to have all these competitors that just aren't getting all these free consumers. Now they're going to have to fight each other for them. What's that really mean? I got to lower my price. Yeah. And then they might not make as much money. So for me, trying to grab something like that, thinking it's a growth stock when we're coming out of a pandemic, it's not a smart play for me. And I hate if you're trying to IPO with that company. I'm not saying nothing great, but I don't see it continuing to grow at its current rate.
Let me just say this.
You're going to overpay.
Yes, Greg has his degree in this crap, but I use Instacart, so you might want to go with what I say.
Okay, but she talked about two stocks about like specifics that she had in here. I think it was DV. Do you know what that one is, Greg?
DV. I know one of them.
SWV. What is SWV? SWV. SWV.
Was that was an old.
That was an old group. It was
from
like
the 80s,
T.I.'s wife, was it? No, I don't think I got that all wrong. Anyway, I'm just saying.
Probably interviewed them on your
Just
show.
kicking, just kick. This is B-roll, y'all, because he's looking for take up your shoes and relax your feet.
It's-
You don't know that
it's
party
been a
on
while
down
since-
to the
Since George and I
Escape.
have.
No, that was Escape. Wrong.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, I was all the way wrong.
You know, like, by the way, Apple Music, we talked about this last week's show, how they're raising the prices. I just moved my Apple Music subscription to a voice only. So instead of looking for stuff, now I just say, like, play I Love Rave, which is one of their, like, old 90s rave music stuff. They have channels around old R&B
Okay,
as
let me
well.
see. Play SWV.
You have to call her by her name.
What's her name?
She just doesn't.
What's her name?
I'm not telling you her name.
What's her freaking name? Oh, Siri. Hey, Siri, play SWV.
So
It's in his pocket.
So it's in my. She's like talking to my butt. That's kind
Yeah.
of weird. Teleprompter guy, his beard just got a little long.
Hell, you doing?
All right, Greg, we killed some time.
Yeah,
for
so
you.
it's actually SWAV. I just had to look at the
Okay.
script to see what actually the ticker was. I don't know really much about that stock. I just looked at it. It's huge growth in the past. It's Shockwave. They deal with it's a healthcare pharmaceutical for
okay.
cardiovascular
Hey.
stuff. I'm not
People are
going to
getting
get into it
sick.
because I don't really know details about it. But they probably came out with something fancy. But it's still, I don't mess with pharmaceuticals no more than
Never.
anyone.
I mean, it's flu time. It's flu
Look,
season.
I
It's-
will invest in pharmaceuticals as a whole, or if I know, say, hey, pharmaceuticals companies that maybe, so my past military life is like, hey, what vaccine is the military getting? Like, hey, doc, which one are you sticking with me? Oh, that one. That's where I'm going to put my money.
Okay.
So
You get what I'm-
based on our earlier story, I think
Yeah.
Greg's onto something. We're gonna see who makes the bird flu vaccine.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
there
it.
you go.
Which-
All right, cool.
So whichever one the government's given the military, and especially if we're in the first ones to get it, you know they're going to have to stick all 5 million in the military immediately, and then all federal governments. And how much does a pin cost for the Army? It's like $25, although it costs like 2 cents. So you know they probably paid $80 million for one shot of a vaccine
Wow,
versus
Greg.
the dollar it costs. So I look at it that way. So I find out what the government's trying to
Thank
purchase.
you for that.
and then-
My husband's been looking at Nancy Pelosi and seeing what she buys, and then he buys
But
it.
not with her husband.
Yeah, he doesn't do
Sorry.
that. He's always
I'm
making
kidding,
fun
I'm
of her.
kidding.
We talked about this 3
Yeah.
weeks ago.
He's like,
where
no, I don't know.
There's a new bill that the government, employees can't buy stocks because of this reason. Thanks a lot,
Exactly
Pelosi and
why.
her husband.
Exactly why.
Hey, this next
They're-
email, let me get this back on track.
Okay, let's get
Please,
back on
you
track.
guys are
Let's
out
get
of
back on
control. This next email comes to us from Larry N. from the Options Players Instagram. Cool, we're taking questions on the Insta. Right on.
Okay.
Thanks, Larry. So, what stock does Dave like, and what type of trader or investor is he? Oh
Why
my
isn't
gosh.
anybody asking about me?
Wow.
I just because I told you about Instacart, I don't care. Y'all don't have to listen to me.
All right, I'm the
over
Warren
here getting
Buffett guy.
rich.
I bought into TiVo a long time ago because TiVo was my most used gadget up until end of COVID. I quit using it because now finally streaming is caught up. So I had stock in TiVo. Now TiVo got battered because they were bought and sold a couple times. Their technology was stolen by your normal cable operator, so they weren't paying the licenses to TiVo. So TiVo didn't really do that well. I owned Sirius and XM because satellite radio was a hot thing back in the day. Some of my companies that I've been a part of were bought by companies like Dish, and back when those when satellite media was strong, I owned stakes in Dish. I also owned T-Mobile when T-Mobile went global with the roaming because you didn't have to pay roaming when you went to Europe. And I don't know if you know this, but I like to travel. So those are the kinds of stocks I'd owned historically. But nowadays, I'm sticking with the stuff I use every day. Think about Microsoft. During COVID, I bought a bunch of Microsoft because I figured people would be leaving their house, going home, and the computers that they used at home would have new licenses for Microsoft. And that play worked. Microsoft's up 50%. I bought a bunch of Apple because, look, they make fun of the iPhone not really changing much year after year. It's kind of like instability mode, like just keep the thing alive. But developing markets are buying the iPhone. Android, even though it has more market share technically, and that's a Google product, the iPhone is still where people want to be. And there's even jokes about, like, if you meet somebody and you get their phone number, if you're out of the club, Georgia, if you text them and you get a blue bubble, you're like, we're cool.
Very cool. If you
But
get a green bubble,
yeah,
like
what's
what?
up with this?
Where
Do you know this story?
You're in a different country?
Yeah,
Like, what are you doing with a green
the
bubble?
green bubble. So, and then you look at what's happening with Facebook. Facebook bought Instagram. They bought WhatsApp. WhatsApp is globally the best communication platform.
But we don't really use it that much in
Not
the
that
U.S.
much
like
in
they
the
do in
US.
other countries.
Yeah, and I've stayed away from Facebook just because, like, for me, Facebook is a vanity play, and it's all based upon advertising. And personally, I like the utility stocks. So what I've lost money on, which I thought I was going to be really smart with, was buying into Jets. And Jets is, Greg, do you follow Jets? It's a EFT of all the
worst
airlines.
industry on the planet.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, airlines is garbage. And I mean,
I
you know,
watched Boeing go up.
I have
And
taught.
Boeing's gone down.
So in colleges, any really, like, if you're going to get your MBA or any business degree and you're doing SWOT analysis or anything like that, that is the worst industry on the planet. It's also like one of those rich people who are like, oh, I own an airline, so just really rich people go buy an airline and then immediately fails. I mean, hey, Trump had an airline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone goes and gets an airline because it's like, hey, I got an airline, and it's too much. It's too much government oversight. It's expensive to get in, and then you
80,000
saturated,
employees
right?
with some of these
And then
companies
you're
like United.
Unionized employees, there's no money to be made. I don't know if any airline would actually be profitable.
You're saying American
With-
Airlines doesn't make money.
I don't think any of them would be profitable if they weren't subsidized by the
the
United
government.
States government.
And Georgia, even American Airlines has gone bankrupt. And when they bought
Yeah.
U.S. Air, it was really U.S. Air buying American, but U.S. Air kept the American name. And then they had for years to figure out which technology stack, because U.S. Air had its own technology. American Airlines here in Dallas built Sabre, which was its own company. So there's all this meddling internally. But for me, I just thought with everyone being so pent up for 2 years that they wanted to get out of the house and they wanted to travel again. So that's why I bought into Jets. And I'm down 50% on Jets, but I'm up 50% on both Microsoft and Apple. So net, I'm okay. But really, I'm into startups. So I do a lot of investing in startups. And my friends and I, we've got a venture studio where we've raised $40 million. So if you have a startup idea,
Is this a promo?
it's a promo, yeah. Give it. You're interviewing for other jobs. I'm going to talk about what
It
I'm
wasn't
doing
real, it wasn't
on my
real.
day-to-day. So what we do is we help entrepreneurs figure out how to bring their product to market, and that's called Soft Tech Venture Studio. And this has been very popular in California, but in California, you're a member of something like Y Combinator, and they take a percentage of the company, and they just give you access to mentors. But with our program, we're literally working with the CEOs of these founders, these ideas, and we're helping them with marketing, we're helping them with software, and we're doing very hands-on stuff. So that's what my real passion is, making makers,
So basically tech stocks.
all tech.
Okay, there you go.
If you have a question about tech stocks, or if you have an idea that you want to pitch me,
Or
for
if you
your
want to
next
ask
idea,
me what I want to invest in,
you can hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street, or give us a comment in the YouTube page, or just like that last email, it was on the Insta page, so very good. Or you can email us www@OptionsPlayers.com with your questions. All right, Georgia, imagine this. An iron nickel metal asteroid 150 feet wide, moving at 26,000 miles per hour, racing through the atmosphere without slowing down or burning up, and crashing into the U.S. with a force 150 times greater than the Hiroshima atom bomb.
wow, that's like a movie.
No, it actually happened. So 50,000 years ago, in the area of the Arizona desert that is east of Flagstaff,
I love Flagstaff.
the crash blew a crater that is 550 feet deep and a mile wide.
Wow.
So I visited this on a road trip, and it blew me away with
Look at
how
this.
absolutely massive it is. In fact, it's so deep that the Washington Monument would be at eye level if placed at the bottom of it.
Really?
You believe that? Look at the size of this thing.
man.
It's so big around that 2 million spectators could watch 20 football games played within it. The walls have such rugged terrain that mimic the moon surface, which the moon that is, due to its lack of atmosphere, gets pummeled with asteroids regularly. Thank you, atmosphere! Woo! For saving us, that is. Did you know that NASA sent the first Apollo astronauts to this crater for training exercises? It's true. And summers in Arizona are way hotter than on the moon.
Yes.
This dry weather has allowed the crater to be roughly unchanged as well.
And interesting.
Yeah. So now at the time when this was discovered, the settlers in the late 1880s, it was believed this crater was caused by a volcanic eruption since there was no massive iron fragments found. In 1903, a mining engineer named Daniel Barringer staked a mining claim to the land. You can just say like, I want this, and studied the pulverized rocks that came from compression. He found fragments of iron and spent 27 years raising money and drilling holes to try and harvest the iron from the desert. Why is that? Well, it turns out that the impact literally blew the huge asteroid to bits, and the only sizable chunk of it was 2.5 feet across. It probably weighed like 600 pounds too.
Wow.
But because diamonds were found in other meteors, this was a draw to the desire to mine the space rock. To this day, the land is privately held by his family. He's now dead. And it's not a government park.
Wow.
It is a cultural heritage site. So,
That's awesome.
So you're wondering right now, holy crap, is this going to happen again? Yes, about every 50,000 years.
I was going to say, I thought you said, no, we couldn't. Okay.
No, technically we're due.
Now?
Yeah, we're due. Yeah. So thanks to NASA's DART, though, we cool.
We're cool? How's that?
Well, this was the first mission demonstrating a method of asteroid deflection which changed a motion of an asteroid in space by smashing into it and nudging its course on impact. Now, this is totally a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, there was a movie.
Exactly.
There was a movie
Yep.
like this.
So NASA mimicking Hollywood, or
Yeah.
maybe
Meryl Streep was in it. It was really good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So they chose a pair of asteroids, and this is called a binary asteroid, so we could watch their trajectory together from before, like, you know, the orbit, one orbiting the other, and after. So we needed a cause and effect. So on November 23rd, 2021, so last year, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launched by Elon, and it came with 2 satellites, and they went after a double asteroid redirection test, which is what DART stands for. NASA loves acronyms. And I mentioned this was on a target trajectory for another asteroid. So, and that was Dimorphos on October 18th, so just a week ago. The 530-foot asteroid was hit by our satellite at 14,000 miles per hour. Turns out you can go really fast in space where there's just a vacuum. Now, this successfully altered the orbit of this second asteroid by 30 minutes. So it slowed down the orbit. It used to be at like 11 hours, now it's at or 11:30, now it's at 11. Now, this was humanity's first attempt to divert the motion of a celestial object, and even as it happened with the first test of the deflection technology. So it happened, it worked the first time, which is unbelievable.
Cool. Super cool.
So not only that, but days after the crash, scientists noticed a second comet tail coming after
What
the
the
impact.
heck?
Yeah, so look
You
at this
said 1
thing.
in 50,000 years. What's going on? But that's the tail.
There's just a second tail. There's like
Okay.
a second blast of it. So
Okay.
the reason for this is not yet known, but they hope to figure this out. Now, I'm pretty sure no asteroids or aliens were harmed in this collision, and NASA wants you to know that neither of these asteroids were a direct threat to Earth, so it's not really the end of the world as we know it.
Okay.
But I got to give a
The
shout out to
end
the
of
nerds at Google. When you search there for the story, watch this. The satellite comes through the webpage, knocking the search results. Those of you watching the YouTube page, go full screen on this. This is so funny. It knocks the webpage
look
off
at that.
kilter by
That's
just
funny.
a few degrees.
Hilarious.
So I got to give the shout out to the Google nerds for putting this in.
Yeah.
So finally, this was the first time that all eyes in the sky, from the Hubble to the new James Webb telescope to many thousands of more telescopes on the ground, were all looking at the exact same object. Now, this is how important the mission was. So thank you, NASA, for protecting our little blue sphere from pending collisions.
Yes.
Because Elon, he's still trying to get the hell off of this planet and go to Mars.
I know, right? But hey, the name of that movie I think was Don't Look Up. Did you see it?
I'm going to now.
It was great. It was really good. All right. So the last couple of years turned the whole world into professional traders. That was all thanks to crypto crazes, meme stocks, and a bull market.
Thanks, Reddit.
Yeah. There were 2.5 million new millionaires in 2021, and that was just in the US alone. Look at us now, though. Fall 2022
Broke as
is
a joke.
not looking so bullish. It's actually looking more like bullish. Okay?
Oh,
Yeah.
I like
Trading volume has fallen across the board. Poor Robinhood, which actually really helped create that whole meme stock craziness, has had some of its weakest trading months on record. But here's the gig. Now we can actually get some of our favorite stocks on the low. Finally, consumers can grab Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and others on the cheap. So what gives Greg? Why isn't there a trading frenzy?
Well, it's money. I mean, you really look at when it got really crazy, COVID really took off a lot. If we go back, let's say we go to 2000.
Okay.
How could you get on the internet and really trade? It really wasn't a thing, we just, well, not some people have broadband, but you were still listening to that to get
In
on.
2020, where the hell
Well,
did
not
you
in
live?
2020, I'm saying in 2000.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people
I was about to
still
say,
didn't
you
have
gotta get you out
that.
the
They
country.
still had, you were still receiving AOL discs.
Yes.
Okay. So we start there. And then you started getting discount brokers when internet really got bigger. And that's when it really became more mainstream because you weren't taught it. So how would you even know how to get into it, right? You had to go see a financial advisor. So now it's pushed. Education is pushed about it from everywhere, to include OptionsPlayers.com. And everything like that is just out in the open. You had other companies that really took this, and we have places like StockTwits and things like that.
So you're talking about communities and people talking about it.
Yeah, so it's just gotten bigger. It's just like
knowledge
But what
is
I'm
power.
saying, what I'm
Yeah.
saying is why. All I'm saying is like 2021, we weren't. It was bullish. Now we can
had
get these stocks.
crazy amount. First off, you had 2020.
Yeah.
The average income for the average person actually went up during COVID.
Okay.
It sounds weird, but that's because we were just handing out money.
Mine
left and
went
right,
down, but go
right?
ahead.
But then people were it was just free money. And I don't know what to say. All the stocks were booming. Everything was going up and everybody was making money. So it was just all this good news. So everybody wanted to talk about it. Everyone's like, oh, look, I can make you $1 million. Here you go. Now, where are all those people at? You probably don't see too much about these people that were all like, I made all this money. But like, well, now the market's down, Did you keep it or did you sell it? Well, actually, they probably sold it immediately after they told you they bought it when you started buying it from them. But now
That's called a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, it's what it
This
is.
is also called success has many parents, but failure is an orphan. So that's why they're not talking about the failure.
So now the volume is down just because the economy is down. The money is, people don't have excess money. They don't have free money out there. I've done analysis. I'm not a huge crypto guy, but I'm in a group that does analysis for some big banks, and we did crypto analysis. And my paycheck from that commission is nice, okay? Because we said short Bitcoin like crazy, and they shorted Bitcoin. And it was all about, everybody thought Bitcoin would be this inflation-proof asset. And we were like, that's the dumbest thing we've ever heard.
Nothing is inflation-proof.
No, because Bitcoin's price is a lot to do with how much it costs to actually make it, right? Or to mine it, right? So if it was going to cost more to mine it, the people that were mining would have to sell more Bitcoin, right? To actually pay for their
equipment,
mining,
their
the
power
fuel
bills.
and everything else, right?
Yeah.
Or energy, I said fuel, but you get what I'm saying. So that is going to increase the supply of Bitcoin on the market because they have to sell it to pay for the increased prices. But the demand stopped because the economy slowed down. So now you don't have this free. So the demand went away, supply went out, Bitcoin had to drop. And now it's pretty much flat even with the cost to actually mine one because the difficulty is kind of flat. And that's what we said would happen, and it did. So
I was in one of my buddy's warehouses yesterday, and he had a whole mining rig with like maybe
His own mining rig.
His own mining rig. He had like multiple power distribution boards. He had like 18 video cards per server. He had a lot of advanced stuff. I go, "How you doing, bruh?"
not doing
And
good.
he goes, "I'm breaking even, and every day I look to see what other coins I can mine, so then I can sell those for BTC, Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's low." So he's running at an operational threshold of like a razor's edge.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think we have to get more. It might be a while until extra income or extra cash, the consumers have disposable income that they can invest in this. And that's kind of what's happening. You had COVID. We handed them free money. They went out and they bought stuff they probably didn't need. They got all these stocks. And now that money's dried up. And now that's not there. So that's it. The same way that inflation dropped the Bitcoin's price, it does it to the stock market and everything else. It's just, there's not all these, I'm not going to say 20-year-olds, but there's just not free money out there to people that, oh, I'm just going to spend it. I'm just going to throw it around. They're saving it. Maybe prices aren't crazy, but they think it might be bad in the future. So now they're holding on to that instead of blowing it.
But I see consumers just every day. You hear consumers spend so much money at Halloween. Consumers are spending so much money flying. Flying is now, to get on an airplane costs more even during non-peak times. So people are spending money on things. And
That's a total
stuff.
different than investing and spending. So you keeping up with the Joneses, right? Is there any reason to own certain things? No, it's not. You own it. But normally people say, "Oh, I own it because I want to." Well, you own it because you want to look a certain way to a group, or it could just be you need it for your profession or something like that. There's really no need in it, right? Because you can live pretty cheap.
I don't want to bring up the cat from last week, the giant cat in front of our house, but I'm sure we could have got
Yeah, we don't all need
some
20-foot cats in front of our $1 million house, right?
Oh, sorry,
25-foot cat in front of our $1 million house. So, but it is what it is. So I wouldn't really put those together. But yes, when people are buying luxury items like crazy, you might see a little bit better in the market. Although I would say here lately, I was expecting luxury markets to maybe slow down with the pending recession, but we've seen that they're actually doing extremely well.
I bought a Chanel purse
during
last
all
week.
this fear. They're doing really well, while the discount people aren't doing well, and that goes back to show that
the haves have it, the haves not don't.
I don't have it. By the way,
as a general,
Is it on sale? I didn't know Chanel went on
Chanel
sale.
does not
as
go
a
on
general
sale.
population, we just blow money we don't have, and we just don't care.
That's what I
mean.
do.
That's what it is.
That's called retail therapy. And
It was retail therapy.
I
and I
have
had to
Porsche
hide-
therapy, and I
See?
keep looking. I'm like, these Porsches have been so high for the last 5 years, but they're starting to come down a little bit. I'm like trying to keep my powder dry. I'm selling boats. I'm selling stuff.
That's right.
Because I want another Porsche. By the way,
I do too.
Look at your nails, Georgia. This is
the same color. That's like a Porsche
So this is a
blue.
Porsche, an Audi. They have this color, which is
It's like a gray blue.
yeah,
kinda.
dolphin gray,
Yes.
flat, no metallic in there at all.
Yes.
Well done.
You know what's cool about you, Dave? Until you get married and have kids, you get to just buy your stuff. I had to hide that purse for like 3 weeks. And then I just pull it. You know what I do? I scuff my shoes. So my husband's like, where are those? I'm like, boy, I had these shoes forever. Are you kidding me? I'm telling my
Miami
secrets.
blue.
No,
No.
that's a
not
dolphin.
it?
That's
That's
a
a
dolphin
difference,
gray.
dolphin.
Miami blue is a beautiful one too, but it's like a dolphin gray.
I do like Miami blue.
Hey, thanks, Greg. Well, he's looking up the colors of Porsches. If you have a question for Greg or want to get at me, you can email us at www.
What about me? It's not just about you
no
and
one wants to
Greg.
know about your retail therapy. Hit us up on social media. Ask Georgia what she just bought, which bag she just bought. Hey, the whole premise of this show was to not buy the bag.
No,
but
let me
to
tell
buy
you what
the
though.
stock.
Let me tell you this. Bought the Chanel purse because here's what Chanel does really quick because I know we're leaving. But I bought the Chanel purse and I argued with my husband about this because I'm like, listen, go try to find this purse right now on the web. It's already up $1,000. Yeah, because Chanel has like seasons. So my guy, at the Chanel store was like, hey girl, I got the Chanel purse. She said you want it. I only got one. I rushed and got it. And now you can't find it anywhere. So you got to buy it on the black market. I'm the black market.
All the leaves are brown. Hey, you can, of course, watch episodes of What's Next Wall Street on our YouTube page. You can see George's pretty fingernails. Greg, did you come up with that color yet?
I
Did
did.
you find it?
I should
See?
know.
Do know it.
What is it?
You have to let me get back to it, though.
Okay,
geez.
all right.
All right. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your damn podcasts. Make sure to subscribe and hit the alert button so you can get current trending info like Porsche colors, which I should know, but I don't buy new ones. I only buy old ones. Greg, what's the color?
Gentian blue metallic?
No, it's a matte
That's
gray.
it. I just pulled it
It's
up.
like a gray blue.
Dolphin-
Let me see. Let me see.
dolphin gray.
That's not it?
I'm Dave Mathews.
No,
I
that's
collect
not
and restore old Porsches. I just saw my buddies Above and Beyond play in LA. It was a great show. This is a throwback to the one they did in New York. Greg, I'm still stalling for you to get this color.
I'm looking for
Let's just
every
call it
blue there
dolphin
is.
gray.
There is
Yeah.
no dolphin
Georgia, who are you?
on the Porsche's
my
website.
Porsche is black. Who am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted that color, by the way. But you know what? Again, back to my husband who always wants to go the inexpensive way. You know what they had on the showroom floor?
What's that?
Cheap.
You got
a black one.
Moonlight blue metallic.
It's not moonlight
it's really
blue.
close.
It's not moonlight blue. They had black. I wanted white. He's like, you get black. That's what you're getting because that's what they got on the floor, and we can take it today and get a discount. So anyway, I'm Alfredas, and I think we're gonna have y'all can just comment on our YouTube page. And
Agate
Dolphin gray is
Dolphin
an older
gray.
color is
So
dolphin
they,
gray.
so they have a gray
no, that's
metallic,
not.
which mine is like Porsche silver. But
you guys, if you're
it's not
listening
a-
to the
it's
show, you
not
need
a
to go to our
metallic.
YouTube.com page.
all right.
Is that my
I'm
stripping
gonna
name
have
is
to-
what? My
I'm
stripper
gonna-
name?
Porsche.
No, I said I'm Georgia Alfredas. I just said, well, I'm saying all. Okay, you know what? We have gone on and on and on. If you're listening to the show, you should see us on our phones looking for this picture.
is
Plus,
so
you want to see the
bad.
color on my nails. Anyway, hey, I'm Georgia Alfredas. We will see you next time on What's Next Wall Street. Come on, we got to go.
I'll put it in comments.
16-2.